Happy Monday, everyone! Welcome to my 30 Days of Art video series. Today is episode 3, and it features an illustration titled Secrets. So let's get started with materials. First, I have my Prismacolor color erase pencils that I love using for outlining and shading and generally just building up all the colors. My Blick Studio markers. Today I use this arrangement of colors. I'll have all the colors in the description below, so don't worry about reading them right here. I'm also using this new Copic marker that I got in this lovely light green color. I'm obsessed with it. This white Uniball gel pen for highlights, a white charcoal pencil also for highlights, and this wonderful Pilot Pocket brush tip pen. It is so addicting to use. So for today's discussion topic, I'd like to talk about a question that I get asked almost on a daily basis, and that is, how did I find my personal style? And I think a lot of you out there who are maybe just beginning to do art are also really looking for your own personal style, looking for a signature aesthetic that is very individual and personal to yourself. A good indicator that you've found your style or have style is when someone can look at a piece of art and recognize it as yours without knowing that you were the one who made it. So I'd like to kind of just share my journey and how I came to find my style as it is today. And maybe I can offer some help and tips for you guys as well based on my own story. So when I first started doing art, I had a lot of ideas of things I wanted to paint, but I wasn't able to execute on all those ideas because I wasn't confident in my abilities. For example, if I wanted to paint a really surreal composition of a girl surrounded by Luna moths, posed really emotionally with strong visual narrative, and have her immersed in fogs and vines, and I didn't know how to create those elements from the top of my head, and I couldn't always find reference photos that fit my vision or that completed my vision. So I was basically limited by my abilities as an artist. I couldn't always paint what I wanted to because I was never able to find a reference photo or a combination of reference photos that could help me bring my vision to life. And I wasn't confident enough in my abilities to just use my imagination and not rely on reference photos. So actually what helped me find my style was just practicing my basics, practicing my foundation skills. Painting a lot of flowers, a lot of butterflies, a lot of nebulas, and a lot of faces. So after you practice painting certain things or drawing certain things many, many times, you develop a muscle memory and a visual memory of how to paint those objects so that you don't need to always rely on reference photos. And I think the key to finding your style is also tied directly with the ability to not rely on reference photos. Because now when I want to paint something, I can doodle any concept sketch down in my sketchbook, and I have a certain confidence that I can be able to render that rough concept sketch into a complete piece of artwork, because I don't always need to find the perfect exact reference photo to copy from exactly. I can improvise and make some stuff in my head if needed. And so over the years, as I practiced and got better at my kind of foundation art skills, I also began to be more comfortable exploring my personal style. And for a lot of you out there, that's kind of my biggest piece of advice, is to practice, and use reference photos. When you first start off, if you're learning how to paint butterflies, find photos of butterflies and practice. And like I always say, don't copy other people's reference photos exactly. Use reference photos for areas where you need guidance, but do not replicate someone else's photograph or artwork and try to claim it as your own, because that will stint you on your journey to find your personal style. So what I like to do is I like to come up with a concept in my head without any reference photos. Come up with a story come up with a setting for your character, and then if you don't know how to draw it down, write it down. Sometimes I always write down, to this day, things in my journal, like, you should paint a girl sitting on a moon with her hair draping over the sides and like moths flying around her or something like that. Like, you don't always have to sketch it down. And then later, when I look back for ideas on what to paint, I will see that note that I wrote to myself, and then I will give myself plenty of time to come up with a pose, come up with a composition, and then look for reference photos in the areas where I need to find reference photos. For example, if I don't know how to paint a moon from the top of my head, I'll look for a reference photo for a moon so that I can develop that particular part of my piece. But I'm not going to find someone's already made photo of a moon and just replicate that for my entire painting, right? So when you develop your ideas, don't use reference. Only use reference when you already have an idea developed, and use that reference for guidance for specific parts of your piece. And then once you get in the habit of doing that, you'll find it a lot easier to come up with a personal style, because having a personal style is akin to being able to tell your own stories and being able to create your own characters living in their own universes. And you can only do that by forcing yourself to not rely on someone else's composition. So yeah, if you're looking to find your personal style, I would suggest practice the elements that you really like to incorporate into your artwork. If you love flowers, if you love cats, if you love space themes, just practice nailing those so that in the future you don't always have to rely on reference photos. And then my second piece of advice is to try to come up with your own stories, and you can totally write them down. You don't have to sketch them out or anything. Come up with your own stories and then try to build up your reference photos or your composition around the story you want to tell. And at first you might struggle with finding a story to tell, finding a voice, or finding a plot for your character. But what I like to do is drawing from my own experiences, as well as the types of films and music that I seem to enjoy. If you appreciate a particular genre of movies, or even like down to the types of clothes you like to wear, or the types of musicians that you tend to follow and speak to, those are all indications of what your personal style could lead to. So pay attention to your interests, and that will help you find your voice in art as well. Like the type of music I listen to and the types of films I like to watch, and the way I like to decorate my room all kind of follow the same general theme as my artwork. I like things that are very surreal, almost sci-fi, things that are dreamy and feminine but not too girly. So yeah, just pay attention to your interests. Your personal style is already inside of you and is just waiting for you to find it and listen to it. So yeah, I hope that was useful for you guys. Sorry, I tend to ramble, but if you like this piece, I have it up in my shop available for purchase. And as always, I will be releasing a full-length video of this drawing on my Patreon page at patreon.com/happydartist. And a big thank you to everyone who's followed my journey so far. I am on day 3, which means I am 1/10 of the way through this challenge, and I can't wait for future episodes. So if you haven't already, please thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps my channel, and I can't wait to share more art with you guys. Thank you, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!